Hello YouTube and welcome to my update video on the Klarstien IR heaters. It's a video I've been wanting to make for a long time, and I know I've had a lot of comments on my first video asking for an update. So it's taken a couple of years, but it does at least mean I've got a bit of experience of these now. So just a quick overview on the situation. I've been trialing these electric heaters in the bathroom. Which is quite a big bathroom, but it's also a room that gets very cold because it's kind of on the outside of the house, and it's quite an old house as well. I used to have a small radiator here connected to the central heating, which I removed because it seemed like it was more of a heat sink sucking heat out of the heating system than actually heating the room, because this room is quite hard to heat. So what I have here, I've kind of done this in stages. I've got a 500 watt Klarstien kind of picture IR heater, and then over time I've added two 700 watt ceiling panels facing down, because the idea was, I believe, that these heaters are kind of meant to heat up surfaces using this kind of radiation rather than heat up the air. So I've tried to get them to kind of point at surfaces, and even this picture one I've angled slightly downwards so it kind of looks down. Experience then, very mixed, I would say. In some ways quite impressive, because these heaters do manage to warm the room up eventually. Once you've had them on for sort of half an hour to an hour, the room is reasonably warm. But it doesn't really heat the whole room evenly. And I was kind of surprised in a way, because I expected these to heat surfaces, as I've said before. So I was expecting to touch kind of surfaces that the heaters are aiming at and feel a slight warmth, but you don't really get any of that at all. In some ways, it actually feels like it's the air warming up, even though it's not the air warming up. And if you do stand in between the heaters, like directly under them or directly in front of this one reasonably close, and it's on your skin, you've not got your clothes on, it does feel quite pleasant. It does feel a bit like the sun. But if you still stand just a little bit away, so if I was to stand over here, it feels, you do notice it's colder, which is kind of disappointing, as I've got over 2,000 watts of electricity blasting heat into this room, and you stand a little bit out of the angle and suddenly you're not really feeling as warm as you want to be. Some more comments on the units themselves. So this picture one, quite impressed with. It wasn't that expensive. Well, it's all in context. It wasn't that expensive compared to other IR heaters. It is very expensive compared to a standard plug-in kind of convection heater. But it looks nice, it's good quality. See my other review for a bit more information, but it's quite modern, connects to the app well, and it feels well built. These two ceiling panels, which I ordered about a year after the other one, I'm really not that impressed with. They feel very cheap. They feel kind of significantly older technology than the other one. Just an example, if you look at this one, the controls are they're almost touch sensitive. They're quite nice, and it seems better quality built. These ones are kind of quite clunky with push buttons that you have to push really hard, and they pretty much don't even work now, and they don't connect to the app very well. In fact, the app's just been updated, and now I can't even program them anymore to work on the time schedule I've set up. And that is a problem with this smart technology, I've found. You invest a fairly significant amount of money. I think these heaters were around £200 each. So I've got £600-700 invested in this, and then the cost of the electrics to plumb it all in. And then one app update, it's useless, because I mean, I can just about reach the controls, even though they don't really work. But my wife's quite short, so she can't. So they've been rendered obsolete overnight by an app update, which is very frustrating. And also the app update brought in a new function where you have to allow permission for it to track your exact location via GPS, or you can't have access to the app. And I find that really invasive and intrusive and unnecessary. I don't understand why the people at Klarstien need to know exactly where I'm standing just so I can use their heaters. So I'm pretty annoyed with that, to be honest. And I'll just interject my own review quickly whilst I'm ripping these heaters out. something worth mentioning is the 500 watt one, the picture one, just felt like it was giving out a lot more heat than either of the 700 watt ones as well. So something a bit odd there. Again, it's only a feeling. It's not scientific, but maybe the older panels are just so old they're a lot weaker. I don't know. I don't want to go on for too long, so I'll try and wrap this up now. I guess you want to know really, would I recommend this? Would I do it again, starting from scratch? And the answer for me is no. In fact, I'm about to rip all of these out and just install on the wall a convection heater that I got from Amazon for £50. I think you get the new for sort of 60 or 70, but it's fully programmable. It's 2000 watt, and I'm sure it will heat the room up quite quickly in a lot shorter time. And you can just walk up to the thing and press it to turn it on, walk up to the thing, press it to turn it off. So instead of having these programmed to come on sort of an hour before I want to use the room, I can probably turn this new heater on sort of 10 minutes before I want to use the room, and then turn it off as soon as I've gone out. So although it probably consumes more electricity than these do when it's operating, it will be operating for a much shorter time. So take what you will from this. It's just based on my experience. Who knows, if you went with a more expensive brand or a different product or a different setup, you might have a much better experience than me. You probably do want to know about the running costs. That's tricky to say. I've been trying to keep track of it through my energy bills, but energy bills over the last couple of years have been so chaotic all over the place anyway, with all the price rises and stuff. It's actually been fairly hard to track. I mean, my electricity bill since 2 years ago has more than doubled, but I think most of that is due to the general price rises. I don't think these have added a great deal to the cost of my monthly electricity bill, but it's hard to be more accurate than that. At a rough guess, I'd say maybe it's cost me 10% more on the bill, and that's having them on for sort of an hour and a half a day. But yeah, I can't guarantee that. So that's a summary then. Hope you found it useful, and hope it kind of gives you a bit of guidance on what you're thinking of doing. It's not for me, but check out other people's reviews and other manufacturers and make your mind up for yourself. Thanks for watching. See you next time.